Alright, let's remember to head on down. There's so much stuff directly south of me. I mean, really every direction. Maybe I should go loop around here first. This seems to be a little self-contained dead-end type path to go down.
Coming across a small brook, Meve ordered her soldiers to replenish their water supplies. When they returned, it was with empty water skins and troubled expressions.
Milady, the water tastes of blood. Not like black pudding, mind, but rancid, filthy.
Meve had no choice but to march on. She gulped dryly and wondered how to interpret this strange event. An omen, perhaps? A warning from the gods?
Or it's just actually blood, you know, from all the war.
She soon learned the truth. Following the brook upstream, the Lyrians arrived at a small pool. Bobbing on its surface were dozens of corpses. A young woman caught Meve's gaze, her long hair spread delicately atop the water, wide open eyes reflecting the sky, a fine nose peppered with freckles, and a gaping wound slashed across her throat.
We shall stop here,
The Queen said calmly.
and give these souls a proper burial. Reynard, send scouts. Tell them they are not to return until they ascertain what has happened here.
When the scouts returned a while later, they brought with them a barefooted peasant they'd found hiding in the woods. They claimed he hailed from Horton, a nearby village, the village whose inhabitants had been murdered.
Them black-clad wretches stormed the village, milady. The devil free-gave at the fore. Rounded us right up, took us down to the lake. Whole village, mind. They'd chop, chop, and splosh, splosh. 'Twas I alone gave him the slip.
Meve listened to the man's tale, then placed him in the care of her medics and ordered the Lyrians to break camp. She rode at the head of their column, Reynard at her side, her knuckles gripped white on the reins.
Do we know where this Frigef is stationed?
Our riders report he's pitched camp to the east.
Then let's pay him a call.
They killed all, like Rosberg. My lady, please, make them pay.
Milka, Bezrad, Kristan, all killed. Souls snuffed out to the very last. Could have run for help, I know. But I was afeard. Afeard the black-lads had catch wind of me, hear me. What now? Whatever will I do? Alone. Left all alone. Me lady, buried our valuables for the black-lads came. In the wood, near a big boulder. Got a bit of charcoal? I can sketch the way for you.
It's like at the, there's like a pillar and it's like the opening to an area with a, like a ravine with a tree.
Could have run for help, I know.
See what we can find. Your Majesty, our scouts have a fresh grave not far from the village. It's engraved in Nilfgaardian. Seems an invader was laid to rest here, judging by the tributes left. He must have been someone important. The Horton slaughter still has our soldiers livid, and they wish to destroy the grave. Shall we leave them to it? I'm just waiting for a catch. On some level, I'm definitely like, yeah, fuck those guys, and let's boost the troops a little bit. And I'm not really caring about like respecting the dead when an entire village is burning right next to me. But I'm like, I feel like there's gonna be a surprise. Like this one's a trap. I don't know. Take everything of value, destroy the rest. We've got high morale and 150 gold as a result. I feel like there's gonna be something else, or it's gonna I'm gonna get judged for it later or something. But like, this is a whole burned out village. if I get judged for this, the judgment's gonna feel a tad misplaced. 800 wood. That's actually not enough for much of anything. Ah, because that one doesn't require much wood. It just kind of doesn't feel like a priority to me. These are so far off though, wood-wise. I need wood. I can also afford this one, which I'm not sure if I want to have that many trinkets on hand. Admittedly, if you have that many trinkets on hand, you can, in reaction to the particular scenario you're faced with, you can choose particular ones to discard and get new things instead. But, if it was Nilfgaardian, why would they bury them there instead of right over here? I guess these are supposed to be large distances, though, usually. I don't know. But yeah, thanks to discard, you do have some extra versatility if you have a bunch of trinkets that you prefer, and they're all equipped. That means you draw them at the beginning of the round, but you can discard them accordingly. But it is an extra discard that has to be spent, too.
The Lyrians had no trouble finding Vrigev's camp. It was the size of a sprawling town. Meve stopped her caravan and called for a council. The first to speak was Reynard.
Seems our scouts were both right and wrong, Your Grace. They did pinpoint General Thronebreaker, the Butcher of Horton. Unfortunately, they underestimated his detachment. It is much larger and better armed than our own.
Isn't that always true? Get him.
That changes nothing.
Meve said, forestalling all protest.
If I leave him unpunished, without so much as an attempt, I shall never be able to face my reflection again. We must attack.
Reynard bowed and passed the order to the Lyrians. Later that same day, Meve and Vrigev's forces stood face to face on the field of battle.
I hope their base is full of wood. Frankly, if I need resources, I feel like I should be able to deconstruct entire... Like, I've fought entire enemy forts. I feel like I should have way more wood, just generally speaking. Crime and punishment. Meve expected General Vrigev's countenance to parallel his villainy. She imagined it's a typo. She imagined a face disfigured with scars, yellow teeth, and sinister eye patch covering a hollow socket. Instead, she bore witness to a distinguished gentleman in his 40s with a meticulously trimmed beard. He appeared to her rather, well, normal. Defeat the Nilfgaardian army or eliminate General Vrigef in one round. So it's kind of a puzzle battle to some extent, right? Unless defeat the Nilfgaardian army just means win numerically. It probably means that. It's probably just a completely normal round. But you can also kill the leader if you want. They have a castle again. Vrigef's foot soldier. After an ally is destroyed, move to its position. Huh. Unflinching, invincible, the perfect soldiers. If you're willing to count their battles against defenseless civilians, that is. Yeah, they're so great about killing things that don't fight back. They only have a power of 5. After an ally is destroyed, move to its position. Why? Huh. I wonder what role that's going to play in this fight in particular. These work the same as before, I think. Oh yeah, they still boost someone by 2/2. But if I destroy it, all the palisades go away, and I get stronger. But that thing has an armor of 25 and a health of 10. That's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. All right, so I don't get to see the enemy leader yet. He's gonna have to get played at some point because an objective is I can defeat them. So we'll have to see about that. I started with Rayla. And a bomber for their one row where their units can be, and 2 drummers. Ooh, and a healer. That only works if they actually attack me though. Oh, and Odo? This hand. So spawn units, spawn units, spawn units, spawn more units. Keep going. Especially since the first thing I'm gonna draw with Rayla is gonna be the other guy. That makes me get to draw more units. I guess I might just stick with this one. Except the slinger is really useless to me because they can't change rows. There we go. I could go with that. If he plays a really strong unit, I can weaken them by making him as strong as the next unit over. Yeah. Except the general itself is probably going to be a boss, so I probably can't weaken him with that. I don't know, should I stick with the alchemist or something else? Just trying to think of what else I'd want. Like a crushing trap, I suppose? I'll stick with the alchemist for now.
Come out, Frigeth! It's time you pay for your crimes!
Worst case scenario, I get to just play another round, right? Where I try again. That's always fun. Alright, so let's immediately bomb them. Enjoy that, I guess. It is kind of tempting just to go straight for him. Screw it. Round 1 attack. There we go. Maybe they'll both die from the fire. Yeah, right, that.
You deserve to die. There! Frigga! I see him. We've got to catch him.
Okay. He's a boss, so I can't use it on him. Every turn on turn start, damage the lowest ally by 10 and boost the highest ally by 5. What? Why? An eye for an eye only ends when the whole world's blind. Damage the lowest ally by 10 and boost the highest ally by 5. I guess generally speaking his lowest ally probably doesn't even have 10 health, so he's probably, I guess the idea is that he's probably not actually dealing 10 damage. Otherwise it's like a net loss. It's a weird one. I guess the one power of this might be the fact that he only has one row to work with. So if he's perpetually killing the weakest unit and boosting the strongest unit, he's making the most of what limited space he does have. Unfortunately, he is a boss, so I can't use my alchemist on him because restraint, which is what I was worried about. Hopefully he plays something else that's strong that I can weaken, or I'll just make do with whatever else I have, I suppose. Ooh, I could use the decoy on Odo to get yet another charge on some of these characters. That'd be interesting. Let's start with these guys first. Just because, like, in case they attack me, I can make use. This attacks their lowest enemy by 2. Just gonna kill that guy, because then he has to... What the fuck? That's what it means? That's not a very good description of a card. So after an ally is destroyed, move it to its position. That includes, apparently, from the hand or deck. Like, that's a bad card description. It does not signify what it actually means. Because that, you would think it would work the same way as like the gray rider, the black rider, the white rider, whatever the rider is that I have. Like, that unit moves to a guy and buffs it. But this one moves from the freaking, he went from 20 to 18, so I think they both moved from the deck. What the hell? Why do they have that kind of power? Oh, and he's just gonna keep... Oh. Okay, so he's kind of like extra overpowered then, isn't he? Because the other thing that he does is that... Huh. Yeah, it's kind of extra overpowered because these guys are going to infinitely draw more of them from his deck, so he's not actually killing one of his units, he's just making one of them stronger forever. So that was a total waste of Meve's attack anyway. I took out his armor. I'm hoping that he'll get hurt by the fire and then get killed, because I don't want this guy to be shooting me every turn. A bomber. Nice. I guess I'll shoot your... I'll start burning your front row too. Now the gate will be getting attacked. That's... alright. Pass. Oh, I haven't played a card yet. I was like, I'm like, why won't it let me go? So please take fire damage, because then, yep, he killed him. Okay. I don't have to worry about getting attacked by... Oh. Even his archers are being replaced by those guys. I mean, I'd prefer those guys over the archers, I guess, but it means I can't really kill his units. Or at least there's a base power of being that strong. That means I probably should not burn his gate down, because at least then he's limited to only having one back row. if I maximize my summons like I'm planning on doing, I can fill both rows with units potentially, helping ensure that they can't stop me. Oh yes, this guy will inflate into power too.
These damn boots are killing me. You'll never take me alive.
Yeah, Knickers is here. Yeah, with all my summons, I should be able to fill both rows with units, which should hopefully outpace eventually the fact that he is gonna have an entire row of 7s, basically, plus this really buffed guy. Alright, so... yeah, the first one we get is Xavier. And then Xavier will use his power here. Okay, so that was a little bit of a gamble. I was just trying to figure out if I could do 2, and you can. You can just keep stacking more orders. This will damage everyone in that row by 2. While also consuming... he can't attack this unit, right? Because this unit is... he can't attack this unit because this unit is, doesn't have health. That's probably a good idea. There we go. They'll take some damage, but also, it's just one of his slots. He only has 2 slots remaining now. So I've made it so he can't fill his entire row with units. So I'm just eating up his space. I could use my alchemist to undo the power he's giving these characters, basically. If I do that, though, I'm probably going to want to wait until later on in the round. But I can use this alchemist to make this guy that strong. It's the guy on the left, right? Yeah. So I can just get rid of all the buffs he's giving this guy, basically. And so I want to let him keep killing guys and keep buffing that guy every turn, because then he'll have all of the power, and I'll just undo it all in one turn. So this is actually looking really not scary at the moment. I probably should have gotten... if I knew what this scenario was going into it, I would have not taken this with me. But it's not very relevant, I guess. Except that I guess I can attack him directly if I want to. I don't think lowest ally can ever mean him, right? That'd just be like a little too convenient, I suppose. Maybe. Still might as well attack him. Gives me a chance to potentially eventually kill him, which is another alternative win condition. I can technically use this, then it'll kill that guy and then attack that guy, but then this will just be replaced by another one of these guys, which then he'll just turn around and attack again, I guess. I don't know, attacking is weirdly pointless, isn't it? Oh, but if I can weaken him to be the weakest one eventually, then this could finish him off, so I should save it as best I can. Alright. Who else do I want to summon? You have restraint, so I can't use you on the boss. And averaging people's power is kind of pointless because they're usually all 7s, and I'm planning on nullifying that guy. So there's not much use for that upgrade. You can't move cards, so he's pointless. I already have 1 alchemist for my alchemist plan. He doesn't seem interested in attacking me, so Ek is kind of pointless. So I guess I just want to have a Scytheman. Because a Scytheman will just be more power on my side for when I start cashing that in. Because he's not really playing attack cards. Oh, what is that? Oh no. Immune. Cannot be manually targeted. That might break my plan for nullifying his attack. Alright. That means I want him to be the guy that gets sacrificed, but he's an 8 instead of a 7, so he won't be. I need a way to target him, which I don't necessarily have. Goody. Huh. An egg will not attack. He just gets stronger a little bit when people take damage. You're for when people move. Yeah, my deck's not that useful to draw through right now. Especially since I have all the Scythemen I should probably just go for whoever has the strongest power at this point. And this guy will repair my units. This will make my team stronger. I still have uses for everything. Let's just play you.
We must trust each other.
Oh, I do have more Scythemen. Didn't I just look here and they weren't here? I feel like this screen is glitching out. And now I'm out of Scythemen though, because you can't even use your ability anymore. Alright, Rayla. Ek is already pretty strong and he's going to get stronger as they at least occasionally damage my units. And that's nice, because she'll regenerate all of the damage that is being done, but you'll still get bonuses from it. Sure, let's just throw Gascon in there. He's also a strong unit. So you only give one charge to everybody only with depleted order, so they have to have 0. So he doesn't get anything, just them. But they can't do anything anymore, so it's actually better to use the decoy on Xavier, because then at least I can get 2 Raylas from that. Or I can even pump them both into the Scepter of Storms just for more damage from that. But decoying him won't be as useful, because it'll just give 1 to Rayla, and these guys won't be able to do anything with it. That seems like the way to go. Okay. And I can use my attack again. I mean, I guess I should just focus on you, right? Except you can't be directly targeted, that whole thing. Well, if I do this, though... Oh, it only does 4 damage. Gets rid of the shield, at least. And these guys get stronger. That's something. And if the fire does damage to him, he could potentially become the weakest one, which would lead to him getting sacrificed. Or he can get stronger by the RNG. Great, I love you, RNG. Thanks for picking the worst target. I'm winning numerically now already, though, so he's not in a good spot. Really, the thing that's going to bite him in the ass is having this wall taking up all space, and me eating into it a little bit, too. And being able to do this. Except I can't target this guy. Oh, people played after that can't be targeted. The targeting thing didn't work on him because he was played afterwards. Because it's a deploy, not a consistent thing. I need him to die, though. Yeah. Death Wish removes immune from all enemies. All allies. 10, though. Ah. I'm just looking at what I have, and, like, I kind of don't have the means to attack him. Especially since these have to move units. So that doesn't work. Damn it. That really undoes my alchemist plan. What is that? Excuse me. Slave driver. Damage the lowest ally by 10 and boost the highest ally by 5. It's like the same mechanic again. What drives a slave driver? A solitary purpose, to see his orders carried out to the letter. So it's the same ability that he was already using, basically. Man, he's just burning through his own units. Like, I'm not even attacking him much. He's just this weirdly suicidal dude, basically. It's just a weird look for him.
Getting to work.
I don't want to use the crushing trap because that would make That would just spread the strength through all of them. I want to specifically nullify his power, and the only way to do that is to target him directly with an alchemist. I can only directly target him with the alchemist if I can somehow damage that guy. You can't target anybody. You can't target anybody. You can only do that when they're monsters. I'm really feeling the fact that my arbalists are not in my deck right now. That's the only real approach I have right now. What I should have done is I should have saved the lightning. If I had saved the lightning attack until that guy got played, knowing he's coming, then I could have destroyed him with that. Or at least got him weak enough that he'd be sacrificed next. Yeah. I may not be able to make this work. I'll find a target for it somehow, I guess, just because I need to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can fit 4 units still. And I only have 2 here, and I can summon 2 with Rayla, so we're fine. I guess I could test the hard way whether it works. These are both things I could test. Like, can I damage anybody despite the whole thing where I can't target anyone? Can I be like, haha? Oh, maybe I can. Huh. And then you, that won't do anything, and then you. Hey, it still worked. I would have not expected that. Oh, shit. Because it says move 3 cards, and then it says if they were units, damage them. Based on the rules this game normally follows, if the first part of the description doesn't work, you can't continue, so the rest doesn't happen. I've had multiple instances where that's exactly how it works, and they're contradicting that here. But you know what? It helps me, so screw it. Yes. He's dead. He's dead, and Death Wish has removed the invincibility. I hope he doesn't immediately play a new one. They keep buffing him, and I'm gonna remove all of that if they don't play the one specific guy that can stop me. Alright. I need to play you now, and just hope you don't... Oh yeah, he can't target me, because his archer's not here. Because you're going to be playing... I'm going to be playing you on basically the last turn, so he doesn't have time to do anything about it.
So much anger and suffering. For what?
At this point, we want to wait as long as possible before doing Scepter of Storms. Because I want to do it when it's too late for him to kill people again, hopefully. Oh, he'll be passing next turn too, conveniently. Yes. Yes. I'm already winning, but I'm gonna win even harder. He's running out of cards. He's not drawing any more of these guys when they die. I think he actually just ran out. That's interesting. Alright.
Greetings. What is it?
Oh, that felt good. Oh, that felt good. The only thing that would work better is if I could do this. And win the other objective, too. Yay! I won the objective. Hey! I wasn't expecting that. But on top of neutering his army down to nothing with that trick, because alchemists are really shockingly powerful when you realize that they can be used defensively, I happen to just barely be able to kill the boss. Because screw that guy.
The Lyrians won the day, despite their foe's distinct advantage. Historians later ascribed Meve's victory to her light troops' superior maneuverability in the difficult terrain compared to the plate-clad Nilfgaardians. But if you ask me, that wasn't it at all. A storm of fury had been quietly gathering in the Lyrians' hearts. A squall of rage stoked by the Nilfgaardians' unparalleled cruelty towards the conquered. And no one embodied this barbarism more perfectly than General Frigga. Meve's men were ready to sacrifice anything to see him punished.
I mean, I wouldn't blame it on either of those things. I would blame their loss on the fact that they had like 2 archers total, and aside from that, I just lit their entire base on fire and watched. And they just stood there attacking each other for some reason. Like, if you think about what he was doing mechanically, it's very confusing to try to imagine in universe.
They dragged the defeated general before Meve. The Queen wished to learn why he'd ordered the execution of an entire village. How the Nilfgaardians could possibly justify such a crime.
2 weeks prior, I'd sent a detachment to Horton to procure feed. Captain Gaynor commanded it. While he was verifying their grain stores, they barricaded him in the barn and put it to flame.
The Queen listened to the general's story, her face a mask, betraying nothing.
Murdered. 1 man was murdered.
Frigga raised his eyes to Meve's. The Queen was surprised to see them wet with tears.
Yes, my lady. My son.
The general's simple words bore pain, grief, and a thirst for revenge that would never be slaked. The Queen had to decide what to do with Frigga. No doubt the general had earned punishment, the harshest possible at that. Yet, such a weighty personage could fetch a hefty ransom, and Meve's army desperately needed the gold.
My father taught me to respect the generals of my enemies. That even in captivity, their arms should not be taken from them. Their guards should greet them in salute.
The Queen said.
But you, Frigga, you are no general. Merely a cutthroat dressed as one. You shall die like the good folk of Horton. Quickly. Summarily.
Frigga received the Queen's decision with sang-froid. He neither struggled nor begged for mercy. He simply laid his head on the trunk. A short moment later, it rolled onto the ground to the Lyrians' deafening applause.
Sang-froid? That is the first time I ever heard that word spoken out loud. For the longest time I knew about the werewolf game that was called that, for example, and I didn't know what it was called, or how to pronounce it. I learned a thing. Yeah, that guy was responsible for massacring an entire village, like many of them, and is also one of many dangerous generals of a horrible army that's wiping out our entire kingdom. Definitely not giving him back for any amount of gold. They need to be weakened at all costs. I'm not like, I mean, money's nice, but I'm not gonna follow up my victory by then giving back one of the generals that they used to massacre people. And he took out an entire village and should be dealt with accordingly.